Love is Our New Reality. Brought to you by Holistic Literary. Welcome to Holistic Literary, where we explore profound spiritual wisdom and transformative teachings. In this audiobook, Love is Our New Reality, we delve into the timeless messages inspired by Sananda and Tina L. Spalding. Both masters of divine love and spiritual awakening, they remind us that love is not just an emotion, but the very fabric of our existence, the foundation of a new reality we are being called to embrace. Through this journey, we'll explore how love can guide us to higher consciousness, heal our hearts, and unite us with our true selves. Love, as a powerful force, transcends fear, dissolves division, and invites us to live with compassion, authenticity, and purpose. Join us as we open our hearts to this new reality, where love is the key to personal and collective transformation. If you're ready to step into a life filled with love, peace, and divine wisdom, then subscribe to our channel, like this audiobook, and let's walk this path together. Thank you for being part of the Holistic Literary community, where spiritual growth and heart-centered living are our greatest pursuits. Key themes for Love is Our New Reality, inspired by Sananda and Tina L. Spalding. 1. The Divine Power of Love. Inspired by Sananda, love is the most powerful force in the universe. It's not only the essence of our being, but the transformative energy that connects all life. This theme emphasizes how unconditional love transcends ego, fear, and judgment, allowing us to tap into our higher selves and embrace our divine nature. 2. Healing through forgiveness. Inspired by Tina L. Spalding, forgiveness is a pathway to spiritual and emotional freedom. By forgiving ourselves and others, we release old patterns and wounds that no longer serve us. This theme explores the importance of forgiveness as a tool for healing relationships, clearing past karmic ties, and opening our hearts to love. 3. Raising your vibrational frequency. Inspired by Sananda, as we align with love, we raise our vibrational frequency, allowing us to connect with higher dimensions of consciousness. This theme focuses on the process of spiritual awakening and how living in love helps us vibrate at a higher frequency, which attracts more peace, harmony, and abundance into our lives. 4. Living with an open heart. Inspired by Tina L. Spalding, an open heart allows us to receive divine wisdom and guidance. This theme delves into the practice of living with vulnerability, trust, and openness, enabling us to experience deeper connections with others and the universe. It encourages us to remove the barriers we've built around our hearts, and to embrace life with courage and compassion. 5. Awakening to oneness. Inspired by Sananda, we are all interconnected, part of a greater whole. This theme explores how love dissolves the illusion of separation, allowing us to see ourselves and others as reflections of the divine. By recognizing this oneness, we move beyond the limitations of individuality and embrace a collective, love-centered reality. 6. Transcending fear and ego. Inspired by both Sananda and Tina L. Spalding, fear and ego keep us anchored in the lower vibrations of judgment, control, and attachment. This theme explores how love is the antidote to fear, allowing us to transcend the ego and align with our higher purpose. By living from a place of love, we free ourselves from the limitations of the mind. 7. Embracing soul purpose. Inspired by Tina L. Spalding, each of us is here for a divine purpose, and love is the guiding force that leads us to it. This theme emphasizes the importance of following our soul's calling and how love helps us navigate the path of spiritual growth, purpose, and service to others. 8. Creating a new reality through love. Inspired by Sananda, love is the foundation of the new reality we are collectively creating. This theme explores how living in love reshapes our external world, shifts our experiences, and influences the collective consciousness. By embracing love as our new reality, we contribute to the evolution of humanity. Chapter 1: The Divine Power of Love. Inspired by Sananda. Love is often spoken about in various spiritual and philosophical traditions, but when viewed from the lens of Sananda's teachings, love takes on an even more profound dimension. It is not simply a human emotion or a fleeting feeling. It is the very fabric of existence, the underlying force that binds everything together. Love is the essence of who we are at our core, the transformative energy that unites us with our higher selves, with others, and with the divine. Love as the essence of being. Sananda teaches that love is the essence of our being, the core energy from which we are created. We are, in fact, embodiments of love. This understanding calls us to reflect on our day-to-day lives and interactions. How often do we act from a place of fear, ego, or judgment, rather than from love? Many of us have experienced moments where we acted out of frustration or anger, only to later realize that love, when allowed to flow freely, would have led to a more compassionate, peaceful outcome. When we return to love, we return to our true nature. This is why spiritual growth and awakening are deeply intertwined with the experience of unconditional love. It transcends the limitations of the ego, which thrives on separation, competition, and fear. When we drop the defenses of the ego and allow ourselves to love unconditionally, we begin to see the interconnectedness of all life. We understand that there is no separation between ourselves and others, only love. Transcending ego and fear through love. One of the most powerful aspects of love is its ability to dissolve the ego. The ego, by its very nature, operates from a place of survival, often manifesting in judgment, competition, or control. The ego constantly seeks validation and struggles to protect itself from perceived threats. However, when we begin to shift our consciousness from fear to love, the ego's grip starts to loosen. For example, imagine a situation where someone wrongs you. The ego's immediate response may be to retaliate, defend, or harbor resentment. However, if we can pause and tap into the transformative power of love, we see things differently. We begin to understand that the person's actions likely stem from their own wounds and insecurities. In this way, love allows us to transcend fear-based reactions and respond from a place of compassion and understanding. From my own experience, I have seen how transformative love can be when dealing with difficult relationships. In moments of conflict, my initial reaction was often one of defensiveness or hurt. But over time, by practicing mindfulness and cultivating love, I learned to see beyond the ego-driven responses of others and myself. I realized that love, when applied with patience and sincerity, had the power to heal not only the relationship, but also my own emotional wounds. The transformative energy of love in action. Love is not passive. It is an active, dynamic force that can transform our lives in profound ways. When we embody love, we become a channel for healing, growth, and connection. Think of the times when someone showed you genuine love and compassion. It likely shifted your perspective or helped you heal in some way. That is the power of love in action. In the teachings of Sananda, love is seen as the force that can reshape not only individual lives, but the entire collective experience of humanity. When we embody love, we raise our vibrational frequency, which has a ripple effect on the world around us. It's not just about personal transformation. It's about contributing to the evolution of human consciousness. A personal example of this came when I started practicing compassion and love in my everyday interactions, even in the smallest moments. Whether it was offering a smile to a stranger or practicing patience in a challenging conversation, I began to notice a shift. People became more open, more willing to connect, and I felt a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. This is the transformative nature of love. It not only changes us, but also transforms our environment. Tapping into our higher selves. When we live from a place of love, we tap into our higher selves, our soul, or divine nature. Sananda teaches that love is the key to accessing higher states of consciousness. The more we align with love, the more we connect with our higher selves and the divine wisdom within. This alignment opens the door to intuitive guidance, clarity, and spiritual growth. For example, many people report that when they act from a place of love, they feel more connected to their intuition and experience moments of profound insight. This is because love raises our vibrational frequency, allowing us to tune into the higher dimensions of consciousness where divine wisdom resides. In my personal journey, there were times when I was faced with difficult decisions, and my mind was clouded with confusion and fear. However, when I consciously chose to surrender to love and trust the guidance of my higher self, the path forward became clearer. The sense of peace that accompanied these decisions was unmistakable, and I knew that love had guided me in alignment with my soul's purpose. Conclusion: embracing our divine nature through love. The teachings of Sananda remind us that love is our divine nature, and by embracing it fully, we align with the truth of who we are. Love transcends fear, ego, and judgment, connecting us to the higher realms of consciousness and guiding us towards spiritual growth and transformation. By living in love, we not only heal ourselves, but also contribute to the healing of the world. Love is the force that binds all life, and as we embody it, we become vessels for the divine, creating ripples of healing, compassion, and unity in the collective consciousness. In every moment, we are presented with the opportunity to choose love. It is up to us to listen to the call of our higher selves and to allow the transformative power of love to guide us on our spiritual journey. When we do, we align with the essence of our being and experience the fullness of life in its most divine form. Chapter 2: Healing Through Forgiveness. Inspired by TinaLSpalding. Forgiveness is one of the most profound spiritual practices we can embrace, and it serves as a gateway to healing, transformation, and freedom. TinaLSpalding, a well-known medium and channeler, speaks frequently about the power of forgiveness as a vital step in spiritual growth. Forgiveness is not only about letting go of the past, but also about releasing the heavy emotional and energetic burdens that keep us trapped in pain, resentment, and fear. It is a key to liberation, allowing us to heal relationships, break karmic cycles, and open our hearts to love and compassion. The power of forgiveness: releasing emotional baggage. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as condoning harmful behavior or forgetting the pain that others have caused us. However, forgiveness is less about the other person and more about freeing ourselves from the emotional chains of the past. When we hold on to resentment or anger, we carry that weight within our energy field, which affects every aspect of our lives. TinaLSpalding teaches that forgiveness is the act of releasing these old wounds so that we can move forward unburdened by the past. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone represents a past hurt, whether caused by someone else or by our own mistakes. Over time, this weight slows us down, making it harder to experience joy, love, and peace. Forgiveness is the process of removing those stones, one by one, and freeing ourselves from the burden. This doesn't mean that what happened was okay or that we forget, but it does mean we choose not to let that pain define or control us any longer. In my own life, I have witnessed the profound impact of forgiveness. There were times when I held on to resentment for years, thinking that by doing so, I was protecting myself from further hurt. But in reality, it was only causing me more pain. The act of forgiving those who had wronged me, and more importantly, forgiving myself for holding on to the pain, brought an immense sense of relief. It felt as if I had finally set down that heavy backpack, allowing me to walk forward with a lighter, freer heart. Forgiveness as a tool for healing relationships. Forgiveness is not only essential for our personal healing, but also for the healing of relationships. Relationships are often the greatest source of both joy and pain in our lives. When we experience conflict, betrayal, or hurt within a relationship, it can leave deep emotional scars. However, holding on to resentment or anger keeps us stuck in the pain of the past and prevents true healing. TinaLSpalding often speaks about how forgiveness can repair relationships, even if the other person is no longer in our lives. Forgiveness does not always require reconciliation, but it does allow us to energetically release the hold that past hurt has on us. By forgiving, we create space for healing, understanding, and in some cases, a renewed connection. For example, I once struggled with forgiving a close friend who had betrayed my trust. For years, I carried the hurt and anger, refusing to forgive them. But as I began my spiritual journey, I realized that holding on to that pain was only hurting me. Through meditation and self-reflection, I decided to forgive them, even though we no longer spoke. This act of forgiveness didn't mean I needed to rekindle the friendship, but it freed me from the emotional grip the situation had on me. As a result, I felt more at peace, and over time, I noticed that my relationships with others improved because I no longer approached them with the same guardedness or fear of betrayal. Clearing past karmic ties. Forgiveness also plays a crucial role in clearing past karmic ties. According to TinaLSpalding, many of the emotional wounds we carry are not only from this lifetime, but from past lives as well. Unresolved karmic patterns can manifest as recurring challenges, relationships, or emotional struggles in our current lives. By practicing forgiveness, we can clear these karmic debts and break free from repeating cycles. When we forgive, we release not only the emotional charge of the present moment, but also the deeper, energetic imprints left by past experiences. This clearing allows us to move forward on our spiritual path with greater clarity and purpose. It frees us from the karmic bonds that keep us tied to old patterns, enabling us to create new experiences rooted in love and understanding. For instance, if you find yourself in repeated patterns of betrayal or abandonment in relationships, there may be unresolved karmic ties at play. By exploring these patterns through forgiveness, whether it's forgiving others or yourself, you can begin to dissolve the karmic hold these experiences have over you. This can lead to a profound sense of liberation, allowing you to enter into healthier, more balanced relationships in the future. Opening the heart to love. Forgiveness is ultimately about love. When we forgive, we open our hearts to the transformative power of love, both for ourselves and for others. TinaLSpalding teaches that forgiveness is a way of aligning with our higher selves, which are always rooted in love and compassion. By choosing to forgive, we align with the divine energy of love, which heals all wounds and transcends all pain. When we hold on to anger, resentment, or guilt, we close our hearts to the flow of love. These emotions create walls around our hearts, preventing us from fully experiencing the joy and connection that love brings. But when we forgive, we dismantle those walls and allow love to flow freely once again. This opens us to deeper connections with others and a greater sense of inner peace. One of the most powerful examples of this in my own life came when I forgave a family member who had caused me significant pain during my childhood. For years, I held on to anger, which created a barrier between us. But when I finally decided to forgive, something shifted within me. My heart opened, and I was able to see them not as someone who had hurt me, but as a person with their own wounds and struggles. This act of forgiveness not only healed our relationship, but also brought a deep sense of peace and love into my own heart. Conclusion: forgiveness as a path to freedom. Forgiveness is not always easy, but it is essential for our emotional and spiritual well-being. TinaLSpalding reminds us that forgiveness is a pathway to freedom, a way of releasing the burdens of the past and opening ourselves to love, healing, and transformation. By forgiving ourselves and others, we free ourselves from the emotional chains that keep us stuck in pain and allow our hearts to open to the infinite flow of love. Through forgiveness, we heal relationships, clear past karmic ties, and align with our higher selves. It is a practice that requires compassion, patience, and trust in the process. But the rewards are immeasurable: peace, love, and a deeper connection to the divine. In every moment, we have the opportunity to choose forgiveness and to step into the freedom it brings. The question is not whether we will encounter hurt in life, but how we will respond to it. Will we hold on to the pain, or will we choose to forgive, release, and move forward with an open heart? The choice is ours, and the path of forgiveness leads us toward a life of greater love, joy, and spiritual growth. Chapter 3: Raising Your Vibrational Frequency. Inspired by Sananda. Raising our vibrational frequency is one of the most important aspects of spiritual awakening. Sananda teaches that love is the key to elevating our vibration, connecting us to higher dimensions of consciousness, and aligning us with our divine essence. When we vibrate at a higher frequency, we attract more peace, harmony, and abundance into our lives. This chapter delves into the process of raising our vibration through the power of love, how it impacts our lives, and how we can cultivate this state of being. The power of vibrational frequency. Everything in the universe is energy, vibrating at different frequencies. The frequency at which we vibrate determines the quality of our experiences and the reality we create. When we operate from lower frequencies, such as fear, anger, guilt, or shame, we align with experiences that mirror those energies. However, when we raise our frequency to that of love, compassion, and joy, we begin to attract positive experiences, people, and opportunities into our lives. Sananda emphasizes that love is the highest vibrational frequency in the universe. It is the purest, most powerful energy, and it connects us to the divine. By aligning with love, we naturally elevate our frequency and open ourselves to higher realms of consciousness, allowing us to access greater spiritual wisdom and understanding. How living in love elevates your frequency. Raising your vibrational frequency is a process of shifting your energy from fear-based thinking to love-based being. This shift happens when you consciously choose to operate from a place of love in your thoughts, actions, and emotions. It's about cultivating a state of inner peace, joy, and gratitude, regardless of external circumstances. For example, if you find yourself in a difficult situation, perhaps facing conflict or stress, choosing to respond with love instead of fear can immediately shift your frequency. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, take a deep breath, center yourself, and choose a loving response. This might mean showing compassion to the other person, releasing the need to control the situation, or simply letting go of the emotional charge. By doing so, you maintain a higher vibrational state, which will help you navigate the situation with greater ease and clarity. In my own experience, I found that practicing gratitude is one of the most effective ways to raise my vibrational frequency. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking or challenging in your life to what is abundant and beautiful. It opens your heart and aligns you with the energy of love. When I start my day by expressing gratitude for even the smallest blessings, a sunrise, a kind word, or the breath in my lungs, I notice an immediate shift in my energy. My heart feels lighter, my mind becomes clearer, and I attract more positivity throughout the day. The process of spiritual awakening. As we raise our vibrational frequency, we undergo a process of spiritual awakening. This process involves shedding old beliefs, thought patterns, and behaviors that no longer serve us and embracing a higher state of consciousness. Spiritual awakening is not a one-time event, but an ongoing journey of growth, healing, and expansion. Sananda teaches that spiritual awakening happens in stages, as we continually raise our vibration and align with the energy of love. At each stage, we gain deeper insights into our true nature, our purpose, and the nature of the universe. We begin to see beyond the illusion of separation and connect with the oneness of all life. One of the signs of spiritual awakening is a heightened sense of intuition and a deeper connection to your inner guidance. As your frequency rises, your intuitive abilities become stronger, and you start to receive clear messages from your higher self and the divine. This can manifest as sudden insights, synchronicities, or an inner knowing of the right path to take. For example, during my own awakening, I began to notice more synchronicities in my life, unexpected events that felt divinely orchestrated. I would think of someone, and they would call. I would ask for guidance, and the answer would appear in the form of a book, a conversation, or a sign from the universe. These experiences reaffirm that as I raised my vibration, I was aligning with a higher flow of energy, where life seemed to unfold with greater ease and purpose. The impact of higher vibrations on your life. When we consistently vibrate at a higher frequency, it transforms every aspect of our lives. We attract more harmonious relationships, greater abundance, and a deeper sense of inner peace. We become more aligned with our soul's purpose, and life flows with greater ease and synchronicity. Raising your vibration also has a profound impact on your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. High-frequency emotions like love, joy, and gratitude have a healing effect on the body, boosting the immune system and promoting overall health. On an emotional level, living in a higher vibrational state helps you to release old wounds, traumas, and limiting beliefs, allowing you to experience more freedom and joy. For example, I have witnessed in my own life how maintaining a high vibrational frequency has transformed my relationships. When I began to approach others from a place of unconditional love and compassion, my interactions became more harmonious. Conflicts that once seemed insurmountable dissolved as I chose to respond with love instead of judgment. This shift in energy created a ripple effect, improving not only my personal relationships, but also my professional ones. On a larger scale, raising our vibrational frequency contributes to the collective awakening of humanity. Each time we choose love over fear, we uplift the collective consciousness and help to bring more light and harmony into the world. Our individual efforts to raise our frequency contribute to the global shift toward a more loving and peaceful planet. Practical ways to raise your vibrational frequency. Raising your vibrational frequency is a daily practice that requires conscious effort. Here are some practical ways to elevate your energy and align with love. 1. Practice gratitude. Start and end each day by expressing gratitude for the blessings in your life. This shifts your focus from lack to abundance and raises your vibration. 2. Meditation and mindfulness. Spend time each day in meditation or mindfulness practices to quiet the mind and connect with your higher self. This helps you stay centered in love and peace. 3. Surround yourself with positive energy. Be mindful of the people, environments, and media you engage with. Surround yourself with positive, high-vibration influences that uplift and inspire you. 4. Acts of kindness. Performing acts of kindness, whether big or small, raises your vibration and spreads love to others. It's a powerful way to stay aligned with the energy of love. 5. Release negative emotions. Practice forgiveness and let go of anger, resentment, or fear. Holding on to negative emotions lowers your vibration, while releasing them helps you maintain a high-frequency state. 6. Connect with nature. Spend time in nature to ground yourself and align with the Earth's natural rhythms. Nature has a calming, healing effect that helps raise your vibration. 7. Embrace joy and playfulness. Make time for activities that bring you joy and make you feel alive. Laughter, play, and creativity are all high-vibration states that align you with the energy of love. Conclusion: vibrating at the frequency of love. Raising your vibrational frequency is a journey of aligning more deeply with the energy of love. As you raise your vibration, you tap into higher dimensions of consciousness, attract more peace, harmony, and abundance, and awaken to your true spiritual essence. Sananda reminds us that love is the most powerful force in the universe, and by living in alignment with love, we elevate not only our own frequency, but also the frequency of the collective consciousness. In every moment, you have the choice to vibrate at a higher frequency by choosing love over fear, compassion over judgment, and joy over worry. This is the path of spiritual awakening and transformation, and it begins with the simple yet profound act of aligning with love. Chapter 4. Living with an Open Heart. Inspired by TinaLSpalding. Living with an open heart is the key to experiencing a life rich with love, connection, and divine wisdom. TinaLSpalding's teachings emphasize that by opening our hearts, we allow the flow of higher consciousness and universal love to move through us, creating a deeper bond with ourselves, others, and the world around us. This chapter explores how vulnerability, trust, and openness are essential to living fully and authentically, and how embracing these qualities can lead to profound spiritual growth. The power of an open heart. To live with an open heart means to live in alignment with love, rather than fear. When our hearts are open, we become more receptive to the guidance of our higher selves and the wisdom of the universe. We experience life more deeply and authentically because we are no longer hiding behind the walls of protection that fear and pain create. However, many of us have built emotional defenses over time, often as a result of past hurts, disappointments, and fears of being vulnerable. These walls, while intended to protect us, also prevent us from fully experiencing love, connection, and joy. TinaLSpalding teaches that healing begins when we dismantle these barriers and trust the process of opening our hearts. Living with an open heart also means allowing ourselves to feel deeply. This includes not only the pleasant emotions like love and joy, but also the more challenging ones like grief, fear, and sadness. When we are willing to sit with all of our emotions, without judgment or resistance, we give ourselves the opportunity to heal and grow. By being present with our feelings, we honor our humanity and create space for deeper self-awareness and compassion. Vulnerability as a gateway to spiritual growth. One of the greatest acts of courage is allowing ourselves to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality, it is a powerful expression of strength. TinaLSpalding reminds us that vulnerability is the gateway to deeper spiritual growth. It allows us to be seen and known in our true, authentic essence, without masks or defenses. In my own experience, I've found that embracing vulnerability has been one of the most transformative aspects of my spiritual journey. There was a time when I believed that being strong meant never showing fear or uncertainty. I thought that keeping my guard up would protect me from pain. However, I soon realized that these walls not only kept out the pain, but also kept out love, joy, and connection. It wasn't until I began to allow myself to be vulnerable, first with myself and then with others, that I experienced the true power of living with an open heart. I learned that by sharing my fears, insecurities, and imperfections, I created space for deeper connection and intimacy with others. Vulnerability allowed me to receive love and support in ways I had previously closed myself off to. For example, there was a time when I was going through a particularly difficult period in my life, and I felt the need to hide my struggles from those around me. I was afraid of being judged or seen as weak. But when I finally opened up to a close friend and shared my pain, I was met with compassion and understanding. That moment of vulnerability not only strengthened our bond, but also helped me heal in ways I hadn't expected. By allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, we also invite others to do the same. This creates a ripple effect of openness, trust, and compassion, fostering deeper connections in our relationships. Vulnerability becomes a bridge to authentic human connection, and it also deepens our connection with the divine. Trusting the flow of life. Living with an open heart also requires a deep sense of trust in ourselves, trust in others, and trust in the flow of life. TinaLSpalding often speaks about the importance of surrendering to the unknown and trusting that the universe is always working for our highest good, even when things don't go as we expect. Trusting the flow of life means letting go of the need for control. It means allowing ourselves to be guided by our intuition and inner wisdom, rather than being driven by fear and doubt. When we trust that we are supported by the universe, we can navigate life's challenges with greater ease and grace. This trust allows us to open our hearts more fully because we know that, no matter what happens, we are held in love. For example, there may be times when we face uncertainty, perhaps in our careers, relationships, or personal growth. In these moments, the natural response is often to cling to what feels safe or familiar. But when we trust the flow of life and stay open to new possibilities, we create space for miracles to unfold. We allow ourselves to be guided by the gentle nudges of the universe, leading us toward experiences that are aligned with our highest good. In my own life, I've experienced the transformative power of trusting the flow. There were times when I faced significant uncertainty, unsure of what path to take. But by tuning into my intuition and trusting the process, I found myself guided to opportunities and experiences that were far more fulfilling than I could have imagined. Trusting the flow requires patience, faith, and an open heart, but the rewards are immeasurable. The practice of compassion and love. Living with an open heart also involves cultivating compassion, both for ourselves and for others. TinaLSpalding emphasizes that compassion is an essential quality for spiritual growth. When we approach life with compassion, we soften the edges of our judgments and open ourselves to greater understanding and empathy. Compassion allows us to see beyond the surface of people's actions and behaviors. It reminds us that everyone is on their own journey, facing their own challenges and learning their own lessons. When we approach others with compassion, we create a space of safety and acceptance, which fosters deeper connections and healing. Compassion is also vital in our relationship with ourselves. Often we are our own harshest critics, judging ourselves for our perceived flaws, mistakes, or shortcomings. But when we practice self-compassion, we begin to release the harsh judgments we place on ourselves. We learn to treat ourselves with kindness, patience, and understanding, just as we would a dear friend. For example, in moments when I felt frustrated with myself for not meeting my own expectations, I found that practicing self-compassion has been a profound tool for healing. Instead of berating myself for falling short, I remind myself that I am human, and that growth is a process. This shift in perspective allows me to open my heart to myself and to embrace my journey with more love and acceptance. Opening to divine guidance. An open heart is also a gateway to receiving divine guidance. When we live with an open heart, we become more attuned to the subtle whispers of the universe. Divine wisdom flows through us effortlessly when we are in a state of openness and trust. TinaLSpalding often speaks of the importance of quieting the mind and listening to the heart, as it is through the heart that we receive the deepest insights and guidance. Living with an open heart means being receptive to the signs, synchronicities, and messages that the universe sends our way. It requires us to stay present, to listen, and to trust that the guidance we receive is leading us toward our highest path. This might come in the form of an intuitive nudge, a meaningful conversation, or a sudden insight that lights the way forward. Conclusion: living courageously with an open heart. Living with an open heart is a courageous choice. It requires vulnerability, trust, and a willingness to embrace life fully, both the joys and the challenges. But it is through this openness that we experience the deepest connections, the most profound healing, and the greatest spiritual growth. By removing the barriers we've built around our hearts and choosing to live with love, compassion, and trust, we align ourselves with the flow of divine wisdom and open ourselves to the infinite possibilities of life. In every moment, we have the opportunity to choose love over fear, openness over resistance, and trust over doubt. This is the path to living with an open heart, and it leads to a life filled with greater joy, peace, and connection. Chapter 5: Awakening to Oneness. Inspired by Sananda. Awakening to oneness is a profound realization that we are not separate from one another but interconnected parts of a greater whole. Sananda, a spiritual guide often associated with the ascended Master Jesus Christ, emphasizes that love is the key to dissolving the illusion of separation. Through this awareness, we come to understand that we are all reflections of the divine, intricately woven together by the fabric of universal love. This chapter explores how awakening to oneness shifts our perspective from individuality and separation to unity and collective consciousness, fostering compassion, love, and a deeper connection to all life. The illusion of separation. One of the greatest challenges in human experience is the belief in separation, the idea that we are isolated individual beings disconnected from one another and the universe. This illusion is deeply rooted in the ego, which thrives on division, comparison, and judgment. The ego often leads us to believe that our worth is based on external achievements, appearances, or possessions, reinforcing a sense of competition and separation from others. Sananda's teachings remind us that this sense of separation is an illusion. In reality, we are all part of the same divine energy, the same universal consciousness. The separation we perceive is like the surface of the ocean. While the waves may appear distinct, they are all part of the same body of water. Similarly, we may experience ourselves as individuals, but beneath the surface, we are all connected by the same divine source. This shift in perspective, awakening to the truth of oneness, can be transformative. It allows us to move beyond the limitations of the ego and embrace a love-centered reality where we see ourselves and others as part of the greater whole. When we awaken to oneness, we no longer see others as separate from us, but as reflections of the divine, mirroring back the love, wisdom, and light that reside within all of us. The power of love to dissolve separation. Love is the force that dissolves the illusion of separation. It is through love that we come to recognize our interconnectedness and our shared humanity. Sananda teaches that love is not just an emotion but a state of being, a vibration that transcends fear, judgment, and division. When we operate from a place of love, we begin to see the world through the eyes of unity. We recognize that beneath our differences, whether they be cultural, racial, religious, or ideological, we are all part of the same divine consciousness. This understanding fosters compassion, empathy, and a deep sense of connection to all beings. In my own journey, I've experienced moments where the power of love has dissolved the illusion of separation. I remember a particular instance when I was struggling with feelings of resentment towards someone in my life. I had been holding on to this resentment for months, allowing it to fester and create distance between us. But when I took a step back and chose to approach the situation from a place of love and compassion, everything shifted. I realized that the person I was resenting was not separate from me. They were a reflection of my own inner wounds and fears. By choosing love over resentment, I was able to heal the relationship and in turn heal a part of myself. This experience taught me that love has the power to bridge any divide. It allows us to see beyond the surface-level conflicts and differences and to connect with the deeper truth that we are all one. When we operate from a place of love, we dissolve the barriers that separate us from one another and open ourselves to the experience of unity. Embracing the collective consciousness. Awakening to oneness also means recognizing that we are part of a collective consciousness. Our thoughts, actions, and energy contribute to the collective vibration of humanity. When we operate from a place of love and unity, we raise the collective vibration, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond our individual lives. Sananda emphasizes the importance of embracing this collective consciousness and understanding that our individual choices have a profound impact on the world around us. When we choose love over fear, compassion over judgment, and unity over division, we contribute to the healing and awakening of humanity as a whole. For example, in my personal life, I've noticed that when I approach others with love and kindness, it creates a ripple effect. A simple act of kindness, whether it's offering a smile, a word of encouragement, or a compassionate listening ear, can have a profound impact on someone's day. That person, in turn, may pass on that kindness to someone else, creating a chain reaction of love and connection. Similarly, when we choose to operate from a place of unity, we inspire others to do the same. Our energy and actions influence the collective field of consciousness, contributing to a more love-centered reality. This is how we can, as individuals, help to shift the collective vibration and create a world that is more aligned with love, compassion, and oneness. Moving beyond the ego. To fully awaken to oneness, we must also move beyond the limitations of the ego. The ego thrives on separation, feeding us the narrative that we are separate, distinct individuals who must protect our interests at all costs. It encourages us to compare ourselves to others, to judge, and to compete. But these ego-driven behaviors only reinforce the illusion of separation and prevent us from experiencing the deeper truth of unity. Sananda teaches that awakening to oneness requires us to transcend the ego and operate from a higher level of consciousness. This means recognizing when the ego is at play, whether it's through feelings of superiority, judgment, or fear, and consciously choosing to act from a place of love and compassion instead. In my own experience, I've found that mindfulness and self-awareness are essential tools for moving beyond the ego. By observing my thoughts and reactions without judgment, I've been able to recognize when the ego is driving my behavior. In these moments, I remind myself of the deeper truth of oneness and consciously choose to act from a place of love and unity. For example, there have been times when I felt the urge to judge or criticize someone, often based on superficial differences or misunderstandings. But when I take a step back and remind myself of our shared humanity, our shared divinity, I'm able to shift my perspective. Instead of reacting from the ego, I choose to approach the situation with love and compassion, recognizing that the other person is a reflection of myself. This practice of mindfulness and self-awareness has allowed me to experience deeper connections with others and to live more in alignment with the truth of oneness. Oneness as a path to spiritual awakening. Ultimately, awakening to oneness is a path to spiritual awakening. When we recognize our interconnectedness with all beings, we open ourselves to a deeper experience of life, one that is rooted in love, compassion, and unity. This shift in consciousness allows us to transcend the limitations of the material world and to embrace our divine nature. Sananda's teachings remind us that awakening to oneness is not just a philosophical concept, but a lived experience. It requires us to actively cultivate love, compassion, and unity in our daily lives. By doing so, we align ourselves with the flow of divine wisdom and open ourselves to the experience of spiritual awakening. For example, in moments of stillness and meditation, I've experienced a deep sense of connection to all life. In these moments, I feel the presence of the divine within me and around me, and I am reminded that we are all part of the same universal consciousness. This experience of oneness brings with it a sense of peace, joy, and fulfillment that transcends the material world. Chapter 6: Transcending Fear and Ego. Inspired by both Sananda and Tina L. Spalding. Fear and ego are two of the most powerful forces that keep us anchored in lower vibrational states of being, limiting our potential for spiritual growth and inner peace. Inspired by both Sananda and Tina L. Spalding, this chapter dives into how we can transcend these forces through the transformative power of love, and how doing so allows us to align with our higher purpose and live a life of true freedom and authenticity. The ego, a construct of control and separation. The ego thrives on control, judgment, and the illusion of separation. It operates from a place of fear, where the mind constantly seeks validation, security, and approval. This state of being creates a false sense of self that is deeply tied to external circumstances and outcomes. As a result, we become trapped in cycles of attachment, anxiety, and a need for control over things that are beyond our grasp. TinaLSpalding's teachings on ego highlight that the ego's primary function is to keep us tethered to the material world, often obscuring our connection to the divine and our true, higher self. Similarly, Sananda reminds us that the ego is not our true essence. Instead, it is a mask that keeps us from recognizing the divine light within ourselves and others. Example: consider a situation where someone has wronged you, perhaps in a relationship or at work. The ego might respond with feelings of anger, judgment, and a need for revenge or to prove yourself. It may encourage you to hold on to resentment, deepening the divide between you and the other person. However, this is the ego at work, keeping you in a state of separation and fear. Fear, the root of limitation. Fear is the foundation upon which the ego operates. It keeps us small, doubtful, and attached to the familiar, even when that familiarity brings us pain. Fear manifests in many ways: fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of uncertainty, and it clouds our intuition, making it difficult to connect with our higher guidance. Both Sananda and Tina L. Spalding emphasize that fear is not an inherent part of our being, but a learned response that stems from the ego's desire to protect and control. When we operate from fear, we live reactively, rather than consciously, often making choices that limit our potential and keep us anchored in lower states of awareness. The antidote to fear, love. The key to transcending fear and ego is love. Love, in its highest form, is the energy of divine truth. It is expansive, inclusive, and unconditionally accepting. Sananda teaches that love is the force that dissolves fear, allowing us to experience the fullness of our true nature and divine connection. Love invites us to release judgment, control, and attachment, opening the heart to vulnerability and trust in the universe. When we choose love over fear, we begin to align with our higher self, the part of us that is eternal, wise, and connected to the divine. This alignment brings about a sense of peace, freedom, and inner knowing that transcends the ego's need for validation and approval. Transcending the ego and fear. 1. Self-observation and awareness. One of the first steps in transcending the ego and fear is becoming aware of when these forces are at play in your life. Observe your thoughts, emotions, and reactions, especially in situations that trigger feelings of insecurity, judgment, or control. This practice of mindfulness allows you to step back from the ego's grip and see the situation from a higher perspective. Example. Imagine you're faced with a decision that feels risky, like changing careers or moving to a new city. The ego might bombard you with thoughts like, "What if I fail?" or "I'm not good enough for this." But if you take a step back and observe these thoughts, you can recognize that they stem from fear, not your true self. From this place of awareness, you can choose to act from love, trust, and faith. 2. Releasing judgment and control. The ego thrives on judgment both of ourselves and others. It creates rigid expectations and attaches to specific outcomes, causing anxiety when things don't go as planned. To transcend this, practice releasing judgment and surrendering control. Example. In a relationship, you might expect your partner to behave in a certain way, and when they don't, it triggers feelings of frustration or disappointment. Instead of reacting from this place of judgment, practice releasing control and accepting them as they are. This shift allows you to approach the situation with love, understanding, and compassion, dissolving the ego's hold on the dynamic. 3. Choosing love in every moment. Each moment presents an opportunity to choose between love and fear. When faced with challenges or uncertainty, ask yourself, am I acting from fear or love? By consciously choosing love, you raise your vibration and align with your higher self. Example. Let's say you're confronted with a difficult conversation at work. The ego might prompt you to respond defensively, out of fear of being judged or misunderstood. But if you pause, breathe, and choose to respond from a place of love and openness, you create space for a more authentic and compassionate exchange. 4. Trusting the universe and divine will. Surrendering to the flow of life and trusting that the universe has your highest good in mind is essential for transcending fear and ego. Both Sananda and Tina L. Spalding teach that when we let go of control and trust in the divine plan, we allow life to unfold in alignment with our soul's purpose. Example. In times of uncertainty, such as when facing a major life transition, instead of succumbing to fear and trying to control every detail, practice surrendering to the universe. Trust that everything is unfolding as it should, and that by releasing your grip on the outcome, you make space for divine guidance to lead the way. The freedom of transcendence. Transcending fear and ego is not a one-time event but a continuous practice. As we make choices rooted in love and awareness, we experience greater freedom, peace, and alignment with our higher selves. We begin to live more authentically, unburdened by the constraints of fear and ego, and open ourselves to the infinite possibilities that arise when we trust in the divine flow of life. In the words of Sananda, fear is the veil that obscures the light of your true essence. When you choose love, the veil is lifted, and you see clearly that you are one with all that is. By embracing love as our guiding force, we dissolve the ego's limitations and step into the fullness of our divine nature. Chapter 7: Embracing Soul Purpose. Inspired by TinaLSpalding. Embracing our soul purpose is one of the most profound journeys we can undertake. It involves tuning into the deep, inner calling of our spirit and following a path that is often not dictated by logic, societal expectations, or material success, but by the heart and soul. TinaLSpalding, through her spiritual teachings and channeling, emphasizes that every individual is here for a divine reason. Our soul's purpose is unique to each of us, yet love is the universal force that guides us toward its fulfillment. The soul's calling. Each of us has a soul purpose, a mission or path that our soul has chosen before we were born. This purpose aligns with our highest potential, leading us to express our divine nature and contribute to the greater good of humanity. However, discovering and embracing this purpose is not always a straightforward journey. It often requires us to shed layers of conditioning, societal programming, and fears that keep us disconnected from our true selves. TinaLSpalding teaches that our soul's calling is not something that we find through external searching, but something we remember by going inward. The soul communicates through the language of love, intuition, and inspiration. When we quiet the mind, still the ego, and listen to our heart, we begin to hear the whispers of our soul guiding us toward our purpose. Example: think of someone who feels unfulfilled in their job or daily life, sensing that there is something more they are meant to do. This feeling of dissatisfaction is often the soul's way of nudging them toward a path that is more aligned with their higher calling. By tuning into their heart and asking, "What am I truly passionate about? What would bring me joy and fulfillment?" they begin to reconnect with their soul's purpose. The role of love in soul purpose. Love is the guiding force behind everything the soul desires to accomplish. It is through love that we navigate our spiritual journey and fulfill our soul's mission. Love acts as a compass, pointing us in the direction of what is most aligned with our true nature and highest good. When we align with love, we naturally gravitate toward the activities, relationships, and experiences that resonate with our soul's purpose. This might look like choosing a career that allows us to serve others, cultivating relationships that reflect mutual respect and compassion, or simply living in a way that expresses our authentic self. TinaLSpalding often teaches that living in alignment with love helps us transcend fear, doubt, and the need for external validation. The soul's purpose is rarely motivated by egoic desires like status or material wealth. Instead, it is fueled by a deep sense of service, connection, and joy. Recognizing the signs of your soul purpose. One of the most important aspects of embracing your soul's purpose is recognizing the signs and synchronicities that appear along your path. When we are aligned with our higher purpose, the universe supports us in ways that feel almost magical. Doors open, opportunities arise, and we experience a sense of flow and ease in our endeavors. Example: imagine someone who has always felt a passion for healing, but has spent years in a corporate job. One day, they randomly meet someone at a coffee shop who introduces them to energy healing, and it sparks a deep remembrance within them. They start taking classes, and before they know it, they are working as a healer and feeling more fulfilled than ever. This synchronicity is the universe's way of guiding them toward their soul's purpose. TinaLSpalding reminds us that these moments are not accidents, they are signs from the universe, nudging us to follow the path our soul has chosen. It's up to us to recognize these signs and act on them with courage and faith. Overcoming resistance to soul purpose. Even when we have a sense of what our soul purpose is, it's not uncommon to experience resistance. Fear, doubt, and uncertainty often arise as we contemplate stepping into a more authentic, purpose-driven life. The ego, which seeks safety and comfort, may resist change and cling to the familiar, even if it no longer serves us. Spalding emphasizes that resistance is a natural part of the journey and should not be seen as a sign that we are on the wrong path. Instead, it is an invitation to deepen our trust in the process and to lean into love rather than fear. Example: a person may feel called to leave a stable but unfulfilling career to pursue their passion for art. However, fear of financial instability or societal judgment might hold them back. In this case, the resistance comes from the ego's desire for security. To overcome this, the individual must practice self-love and faith in the divine plan, trusting that when they follow their soul's calling, the universe will provide for them in unexpected ways. Serving others through soul purpose. At its core, our soul's purpose is always connected to service in some way. This doesn't necessarily mean that we all need to become healers, teachers, or spiritual guides. Serving others can manifest in countless ways, whether it's through creating art that uplifts others, being a compassionate parent, or simply living with integrity and kindness. TinaLSpalding often channels the message that when we live in alignment with our soul's purpose, we naturally uplift and inspire those around us. Our energy shifts, and we become a source of light and love for others. This is why discovering and embracing our purpose is not only a personal journey, but a collective one as well. Each of us plays a role in the greater tapestry of humanity, and by living our purpose, we contribute to the awakening and healing of the whole. Example: consider someone who feels called to start a community garden in their neighborhood. While this might seem like a small act, it creates a ripple effect. The garden brings people together, fosters a sense of community, and provides healthy food for those in need. This is a perfect example of how living in alignment with one's soul purpose can serve others and create positive change. Practical steps to embrace your soul purpose. 1. Listen to your heart. Spend time in meditation or quiet reflection, asking your heart what it truly desires. Your soul speaks through your emotions and passions, so pay attention to what brings you joy and fulfillment. 2. Trust the process. As you begin to follow your soul's calling, trust that the universe will support you. This may require taking leaps of faith and stepping into the unknown, but know that divine guidance is always available. 3. Release fear and doubt. Fear and doubt are natural, but they are also obstacles to living in alignment with your soul. When they arise, practice self-compassion and remind yourself that love is more powerful than fear. 4. Be of service. Ask yourself how you can use your gifts and passions to serve others. When we focus on service, we align with the flow of universal love and open ourselves to greater abundance and fulfillment. 5. Stay open to synchronicities. Be aware of the signs and synchronicities that appear in your life. These are often clues from the universe, guiding you toward your soul's purpose. Conclusion: living a purposeful life. Embracing your soul purpose is an ongoing journey, one that requires deep listening, trust, and love. TinaLSpalding's teachings remind us that by aligning with our soul's calling, we not only experience personal fulfillment, but contribute to the greater good of humanity. Our purpose is a reflection of the divine, and when we live in alignment with it, we become channels for love, light, and healing in the world. Chapter 8: Creating a New Reality Through Love. Inspired by Sananda. The power of love has long been recognized as the most transformative force in the universe. According to Sananda's teachings, love is not merely an emotion but the very fabric of existence, a universal energy that holds everything together. As we step into this understanding, we recognize that love is the foundation of the new reality we are collectively creating. This theme dives into the idea that by consciously embracing love in all aspects of our lives, we have the potential to reshape both our individual experiences and the world at large. Love as the creative force. Love is the energy that fuels creation. When we align with love, we align with the divine will and the natural flow of life. Sananda teaches that our thoughts, emotions, and actions shape our reality, and that by focusing on love, we can co-create a world rooted in peace, harmony, and unity. This shift begins at the personal level, but expands outward to influence the collective consciousness of humanity. When we choose love over fear, judgment, or anger, we open ourselves to new possibilities. Love is expansive. It breaks down the barriers we have built around ourselves and allows for deeper connection with others and with the universe. In this way, we are not only transforming our inner world, but also contributing to the creation of a new reality on a global scale. Example: consider how choosing love in a difficult situation can completely alter its outcome. Imagine you are faced with conflict or misunderstanding. If you respond with defensiveness or anger, the situation may escalate, creating more division. But if you approach it with love, empathy, and compassion, the energy shifts. Walls come down, communication opens up, and the potential for healing and resolution emerges. This is a simple example of how love can reshape not just personal dynamics, but also the broader reality in which we live. Shifting from fear to love. One of the greatest challenges in creating a new reality through love is the need to shift away from fear. Fear is a powerful, restrictive force that keeps us locked in old patterns of separation, scarcity, and conflict. Sananda's teachings emphasize that fear is rooted in illusion, the illusion of separation from one another and from the divine. To create a new reality through love, we must consciously choose to let go of fear. This doesn't mean that fear will not arise, but rather that we choose not to let it govern our thoughts, emotions, or actions. When fear arises, we can remind ourselves of the truth that love is the only real power, and that fear is simply a shadow of our limited understanding. Example: think of someone who is afraid to pursue a dream or step into their true calling because they fear failure, rejection, or loss of security. This fear can paralyze them, keeping them stuck in a life that feels unfulfilled. However, by shifting their focus to love, loving themselves enough to honor their passion, loving the process of growth, and trusting that the universe will support them, they begin to move forward with courage and faith. As they align with love, they open themselves to new opportunities and possibilities that would have otherwise remained out of reach. The ripple effect: love and the collective consciousness. Sananda teaches that each act of love, no matter how small, creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond the individual. When we live in love, we raise our own vibration, which in turn influences the collective consciousness of humanity. This is how real change occurs, one person, one heart at a time, creating a cumulative effect that ultimately transforms the world. As we embrace love in our daily lives, we contribute to the awakening of others. Our actions inspire those around us to also choose love over fear, and in this way, we create a wave of positive change. This is how the new reality, based on love, is formed, not through force or revolution, but through the quiet, powerful shift in consciousness that occurs when people collectively choose to live in love. Example. Consider the way one act of kindness can spread. A person offers a gesture of compassion to someone in need, who in turn feels uplifted and inspired to pass that kindness on to someone else. This ripple effect continues, spreading outward to touch countless lives. The same is true for the energy of love. When we embody love, we unconsciously inspire others to do the same, contributing to the collective shift toward a more harmonious and loving world. Creating a love-centered reality. Living in love reshapes our experiences by changing the way we perceive the world. When we see through the lens of love, everything shifts. Challenges become opportunities for growth, and even difficult situations can be met with grace and compassion. This shift in perception not only enhances our personal well-being, but also has the power to heal relationships, communities, and even nations. Sananda encourages us to adopt a love-centered approach to life, where every thought, word, and action is infused with the energy of love. This doesn't mean ignoring the challenges and injustices of the world, but rather addressing them from a place of love, rather than anger or judgment. By doing so, we contribute to the creation of a reality that reflects the higher ideals of unity, compassion, and peace. Example. A community facing conflict or division might be tempted to approach the issue with blame, anger, or force. However, if that community chooses to approach the situation with love, seeking to understand the root causes of the conflict, offering compassion and forgiveness, and working toward reconciliation, the entire dynamic changes. Healing becomes possible, and the community can begin to rebuild in a way that fosters unity and cooperation. Personal transformation through love. On a personal level, living in love transforms us from the inside out. Love dissolves the ego's need for control, superiority, or separation. It softens the heart, allowing us to be more open, vulnerable, and connected to others. As we live in love, we align more fully with our higher selves and our soul's purpose. This personal transformation is not always easy. It requires us to confront and heal the wounds and traumas that keep us locked in fear and separation. But as we heal, we become more attuned to the divine love that is always present within us and around us. This inner shift allows us to live more authentically, with greater joy, peace, and fulfillment. Example. Imagine someone who has been carrying the weight of past betrayals, holding on to anger and resentment. This emotional burden not only affects their relationships, but also their overall sense of well-being. By choosing to release that anger and forgive, whether it's forgiving another person or themselves, they open their heart to love. This act of forgiveness not only frees them from the emotional pain they've been carrying, but also allows them to experience deeper, more meaningful connections with others. The role of faith in creating a new reality. Sananda's teachings remind us that creating a new reality through love requires faith. Faith in the power of love, faith in the divine plan, and faith in the unfolding of the collective awakening. As we move into this new reality, we may not always see immediate results. The world around us may still reflect the old paradigm of fear, division, and conflict. But with faith, we trust that each act of love is contributing to the greater transformation of humanity. This faith is not passive, it is active and courageous. It calls us to continue choosing love, even when it seems difficult or when the world tells us otherwise. It requires us to believe in the unseen and to trust that the new reality we are creating is already taking shape, even if it is not yet fully visible. Conclusion: Love as our new reality. In this chapter, we've explored how love is not only the foundation of the new reality we are creating, but also the force that will carry us through the challenges of this transformational time. Inspired by Sananda, we are reminded that by choosing love over fear, anger, and separation, we are actively contributing to the evolution of humanity and the creation of a more harmonious and loving world. As we continue to live in love, both individually and collectively, we align ourselves with the divine will and the greater purpose of our souls. Love is the new reality we are stepping into, and by embracing it fully, we become co-creators of a world that reflects the highest ideals of peace, unity, and compassion. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey through Love is Our New Reality. We hope these teachings have inspired you to embrace love, forgiveness, and spiritual growth in your life. If you enjoyed this audiobook, please consider subscribing to Holistic Literary for more enlightening content. Don't forget to like, share, and stay tuned for more wisdom to uplift your soul. Together, let's continue creating a world rooted in love, compassion, and unity. Thank you for being part of our community.